rusty, are we?
You have no idea.
I do.
What's up, Airsofters? Welcome to the Not So Round Table here in the middle of the Customer Appreciation Week happening here at Evike.com, both on our website and here on social media. We have been graciously blessed with Jet and Leah joining us for George and I's Not So Round Table this week. In order for you to understand us better, we're going to be removing our masks. We did our due diligence to make sure we tested negative. We're still sitting 6 feet apart, but we're going to go ahead and remove our masks so that you guys can hear and see what we're saying more correctly.
Freedom!
Welcome, guys. Introduce yourselves and things.
Wow.
It seems like forever since we've seen you.
It has been forever.
Yeah, how long has it been?
I mean, we
Since
saw
before-
you. We did that
It's been
over
since the before
Skype
times.
or over Zoom thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
March
yes.
or April. And other than that, I don't think we've seen you probably this year.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in person since SHOT.
Since SHOT
Yeah,
Show.
Yeah.
And we live like an hour apart.
Although,
Quarantine's been rough.
These days, it might as well be.
Yeah.
We might as well live on the moon.
Yeah.
Might as well live on the moon.
I miss the before times.
The before time. That's a good way. I haven't heard. Is it we're just gonna be making those old? What was that show? Land Before Time references.
Yeah.
Not show, movie. Sorry.
You kind of make it sound like it's a post-apocalyptic world and
Yeah.
you're like survivors.
It feels like it sometimes. The quest to find toilet paper.
We should start doing like all of our media in post-apocalyptic, like, so that anybody in the future watching back is like, the world really did end.
but really casually
rags and
though.
dirt.
Run out of supplies.
Do you remember when we were filming that one review during like when the fire was up in towards Arcadia or whatever, and it was like really orange here,
Oh, yeah.
but like it is apocalyptic in California. I can't speak today, so I'm just gonna go.
It's okay, George.
Yeah,
English is
well,
hard.
Since California's been
English
on
is
fire.
hard. It's okay.
Speaking is hard.
English is hard.
English is hard. English is a hard language to learn,
Yeah.
apparently.
So the format isn't going to change. I don't know which one of you to look at. I'm gonna look at you now. So the format isn't changing. You guys are familiar with the Not So Round Table, how we do things. The only difference is I'm gonna be asking most of the questions, so we don't have to do this whole pass around thing. Make sure you stick around to the end of this Not So Round Table, where we've got some exciting announcements about other things happening later this week as part of Customer Appreciation Week. Without further ado, you guys ready for a question?
Sure.
Yes.
Reach in there. Get a good one.
I'm reaching.
I don't know
Yeah,
if they'll be
Rona
good
food.
ones,
Yeah.
but they're
These have all been sanitized. They're no longer wet though.
Oh, good.
All right, this one was asked in episode 70, which was 5 years ago, by the way.
Whoa.
Hey, Not So Round Table, greetings from Southeast Virginia. I was wondering what your feeling on tactical mullets is. I personally rock a sweet Tennessee top hat. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Okay. So I personally rock a sweet Tennessee top hat, and I was wondering if you would ever rock one. Please, P.S. Enjoy this show and keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on.
I don't think I've ever heard that. A Tennessee top. Have you?
Hold on.
You're from the Midwest.
There are different kinds
I'm
of.
not from.
No, she's
not
from the Midwest.
I am.
Well, that's not really.
Is
Tennessee.
this-
Considered the
I
Midwest?
mean-
Tennessee is not considered the Midwest.
think it's just-
No, but
How is that not?
Oklahoma.
Is
You're
it-
from
Okay, but neither is
Kansas.
Virginia,
Kansas.
really.
Kansas is Midwest. Sure.
Kansas is as middle as you can get.
Okay, so a Tennessee top hat is apparently just another
A mullet.
word
mullet.
for a mullet. Also showing up in my Google search is a Mississippi mudflap.
What is that one?
So any one of those. Would you guys ever rock a mullet?
I don't think I can, just because my hair sticks up. Like I would have.
You could mock a perfect mullet because it would stick up on the top and be like flowy
But then it would
and
stick
straight
out.
in the
I
back.
would look like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
It would just stick out the back.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Try it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I should dye my hair blue and be Sonic for a year.
My hair's
or
too
something.
curly.
Yeah.
Once it gets a certain length, it would just start curling too much. It wouldn't look very good. It would look like my daughter's hair, which is just all over the place.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a mullet?
So
A rat tail.
at the end of high school and like early into my 20s, I grew my hair out. Like total surfer dude.
Oh yes, I
super
think I've seen a
blonde.
photo of you.
It was,
from that
it was
time
like I got it
period.
down to like shoulder length.
Yeah, I have.
man, oh,
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
And I was
back.
still playing soccer a lot back then, and so I had like the ponytail because I was, I was
Trying to go for like the Alexia what is it? Alexia Lawless? Or what's that soccer player's name from that time period? Oh my gosh, it's Alexi.
soccer player?
Yeah.
There's a bunch. I mean, you have
Yeah.
Sergio Ramos who was doing it. You have
I didn't do the man bun. I had the
Fernando
ponytail,
Torres was
but-
doing it. That
Anyway.
long hair with the no.
Yeah.
But so anyway, it came to the decision when I figured out that that's not the person I wanted to be anymore. And so my buddy helped me shave my head. But before we shaved my head completely and went down to like a buzz cut, I mulletized my head
Nice.
just for fun. It looked awful. And we didn't take photographic proof, and I kept it for all of like 10 minutes.
Man,
And we most likely couldn't get you to do it again.
No,
all
not even
that
for
build
money.
up for such a
It'd have to be a
disappointment.
large amount of money.
maybe. I mean, I'd rock a mullet on a wig.
For a movie.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't. We live in California, and there's some stigmas against here. I'd get talked down to. I think.
I think there's a few people that can pull it off. Few.
It's a small percentage of the
Yeah,
population.
yeah.
Ryan, would you do a mullet?
I'm trying to think of anybody in Airsoft who has a really killer mullet.
I don't know if I could do a mullet. I don't know if I could. It would be very hot on your neck, and
yeah.
I think that's the part that would eventually drive me insane.
You have a really floofy mullet too.
I have very floofy hair.
Asian hair could really pull off like. I think we'll
I'm
just
sure
have
I
to
could-
experiment, and someone will just have to do it.
Yeah.
who
I'm
I'm sure I
has
could
Asian
do it with
hair.
enough product and stuff, but would I do that like every
No.
day as like a casual hairstyle? Probably not.
I love
It
that
would
it was
just be
called
one
a
of those
Tennessee
things
top
you
hat.
would just do it to do it, take the picture, and then just cut it off.
Yeah, or I could
You
do that
really
with a really nice wig though, to be honest. Like-
Yeah, no, that's true. It would probably be better just to do a professional like.
Oh,
yeah.
There are definitely Asian mullets.
Oh, did you look up Asian mullets?
Yeah.
You know who I would love to see with a mullet? Mark from Red Wolf. Because I think he'd have the balls to do it. And, like,
Probably.
I
Yeah.
think he's loud enough in personality that he could get away with having a mullet
Oh, you know who we should-
non-ironically.
I think Dayton from House Gamer.
Oh, Dayton would
That would
rock
look
the
really
hell
funny, and
out
I'm
of a
pretty
mullet.
sure he would do it. Dayton, will you do that for us?
Please do a mullet.
Come on, do it for the internet.
Do it for
A
the
maple
likes.
mullet.
I feel like I've seen
maple.
Canadian reality
Yeah,
show
yeah.
people
It
with
would.
mullets too.
I could see that with a flannel. Like I could see that. I could see that combo
Yeah.
as a regional thing.
You have to have a flannel if you have a mullet.
If you're
Oh, we got more
Canadian,
trucks coming in.
Since I don't think
we
we
got
ever
more trucks.
convince Robo to do it.
I don't think Robo would do it.
All right, next question. Hopefully something more airsoft related. Not that question was bad. It was a great question.
I mean,
forgot
bullets
to say
are making
who
a
read that
comeback.
question. John Carroll. Thank you for your question. All right, next up, guys. This one's also from episode 70. Are these both from 70? Yeah, this
There's
one's also
a few from
episode
70. You got to mix them up.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
okay.
I was just random. Okay, so this one's also from 70, although this one was asked 3 months ago from CJC Walker. The gun you've had your eyes on, just make sure the quality is good, quality over quantity. I'm going to turn this into a question, maybe not brand specific, okay? So I don't want an exact product name or model, but what qualities do you look for in a great airsoft gun? Like what, like
a
when
good
you,
question.
like when you pick up an airsoft gun, regardless of brand or model, what qualities do you look for immediately that go, this is quality, this is what I expect to see? Like what are those pieces of information that you know, in that split second first picking it up that tell you, or first time using it to tell you this is something that I would use and recommend?
Okay, I have a checklist. When I first pick up the gun, does it feel sturdy? Like if I pick it up and it's already like creaking, or like I can feel some bend, and then I'm already like, I don't know about this. And then second to that, I think like the controls. Do the controls feel good? Like a selector switch on an M4, like is that thing just gonna spin around like it's a broken clock, or like does it like actually click into place? Like do I have that solid feedback of like a click on semi, full auto, back to safe? And then third, and probably most importantly for me at least, is does the hop up work? Because oh my goodness, I've been getting so many guns lately where it's like, dang, this is great, it's so solid, it feels great, listen to the ergonomics, everything is great, and then I shoot it and the first BB goes straight into the ground in front of my eyes, and I'm like, well, okay, well, now I have to shoot people within the minimum engagement distance, and they're gonna be mad, or I gotta get this thing fixed, like,
To be
That is
fair,
the-
you also have a unique ability of breaking hop-ups more than
I mean, I do.
anyone else.
I
Yeah,
do.
you have a pretty good hop-up record in terms of breaking them.
Yes.
Or just
yes.
in general breaking things.
You should get that on a shirt.
Anything like specific?
Well, I'll be the girl and be like, I look for aesthetics. Like, I want it to be aesthetically pleasing, obviously.
Is that serious?
And then, yeah. Like Jet said, I want it to be durable because Jet and I play several times a week sometimes, or for hours and hours on end. And so I want it to be a durable gun, and I want it to perform well out of the box because, like Jet said, if something doesn't perform well out of the box, then what's the point of buying it for me? Or what? I don't see a point.
Yeah.
So that's what I mainly look for, is just basically performance out of the box, that it will shoot well for just picking it up out of the box. That's the main thing I look for.
Yeah.
Good answer.
And it's pretty.
I want a sexy looking gun with clean lines.
I mean, I think along the lines of aesthetics, I think having a really good solid finish is really like, I think nowadays it's more important to have a really solid finish on any gun versus like before, back like 10 years ago, you look at like JG guns with like that weird, you know what I'm talking about, like the old GG guns had like this weird finish, and
Or the weird like the weird wooden furniture that you're like, did someone just mill a 2x4 and then not like put any coating on it? What?
yeah, no, I
What
definitely
is this
think
wood quality?
I definitely think the finishing, you know, like if it's anodized, like having a really good look on that, or if it's like not Cerakoted but painted, like I'd say like some of the Crytek guns have, I don't mean a name plug, but like their colors are sometimes pretty good. You know, that kind of paint, not necessarily a Cerakote, because that's going to the custom realm.
New.
Yeah.
That's new trend.
Yeah, it's a new trend.
Watch your words.
But I mean, like, what made GMP very popular back in the day was when they made those bodies that were like really like well finished.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what was really, you know,
yeah.
like versus you were looking at like old JG guns or whatever, and you're like, ew.
Yeah. Well, so I think my experience is a little bit more unique because I get exposed to a lot of new stuff that's coming out in a very short time period. So when we film like our videos and things, you know, that might be the first or second time that I'm holding and using these products. And in addition to, you know, obviously, like I care, you know, a lot about looks. Does it look good? You know, the fit and finish, of course, the twist test. You know, you always do the twist test on the handguard. Does the handguard twist? Is the stock loose on the buffer tube? Things like that. You know, are the select fire switches loose against the body? Do they feel like they're gonna, you know, rip off? But I will say the way that maybe I evaluate it that's different than what you guys have said so far is I use my ears as my primary determination for the quality of something. The first time I plug in the battery and pull the trigger, I listen for how the motor sounds when it spins up. I listen to how the trigger, you know, the sound of that contact. I listen to the engagement of the gears in the gearbox, because if it sounds whiny right out of the box, that tells me that the brand's quality control hasn't been performed well enough, or they haven't cared enough, or haven't been experienced enough to tune them properly out of the box. Because like 90% of airsofters are going to do, they're going to take it out of the box and use it immediately. They're not going to know or be interested in retuning their motor height or doing any of that. So, you know, I try to look at it as, if I was brand new to this and I took it right out of the box and I haven't cleaned the barrel, I haven't changed anything about it, how is this going to perform without touching anything? And sometimes, you know, we'll get a product that, you know, I'll take it out, plug it in, and it sounds super whiny, you know, or the gear mesh is way too tight. And the fact that we have to adjust that tells me that, okay, either this is a fluke, or if this is representative of the entire shipment, maybe not one of my highest recommendations. And
Right.
so, I don't know, that's for me is kind of where I go, is I go to
That's a good
sound,
point.
because,
Yeah.
God, there's nothing worse than being in a 3-hour game and just hearing this yep,
Yeah.
like the whole time, because it just gets obnoxious. And because that your ear is closest to the system, that's, I don't know, that's for me is where I don't know. Ryan, what do you think?
What do I
you
think?
fix things far more often than any of us.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I guess you all touched on great points. Like, it's a lot of external quality and stuff like that. You could just kind of feel it. I'm really big into like feeling the plastics of things, because I feel like plastics are something where a lot of times people like focus on like, oh, we need to have metal on everything, but then there's still going to be plastic components. I really like companies that put in the effort to put in like nylon fiber pieces on their guns, because they have a much stronger tendency to like last from like impacts and stuff like that than ABS, especially some of the cheaper ABS. So there's that, obviously the gun, how the gun sounds and all that sort of stuff. But I feel like a lot of manufacturers, I mean, there are obvious outliers, but a lot of manufacturers nowadays are pretty good about at least providing a baseline, like reliable product for the most part. Like, you know, a lot of the companies have something for everybody. So I don't worry too much about that necessarily, but it's definitely one of those things where you can feel like how snappy the trigger is and stuff. But I feel like the trend now is leaning so far in that direction that most companies have a pretty good handle on that. So I'm then looking for like, how the selector switch feels, how like the external, you know, pieces feel, and like how everything fits together too. Because like we have some guns that don't piece, like it comes assembled, and then to put the battery in or something like that, you like take off all the parts and then they don't go back.
Right.
Battery space.
Yeah.
Definitely something. We
And that's something that, you know, is you need to they need to think about from the very beginning of the process, because they have to build the thing around that. And so
although there are some platforms that, you know, they just don't have battery space. And that's not a knock on not a knock on that gun design. It was never designed to hold a battery, right?
But I think when you go and, especially if you're designing a gun from scratch, you've got to have that mentality of like, this has to be battery operated. How are we going to do that?
Sure.
And design the gearbox to fit in a way where it has enough for like a standard battery to fit in it. There's nothing more frustrating than designing a gun that you have to buy a special battery for it.
Yeah.
And there's a few out there.
Yeah, like my Brent. Like, I love that gun, but goddamn, that stupid battery compartment.
Well, and that's what's disappointing about that, is because it's so big, it should have...
It looks like it would have a ton of
I love that
space.
gun, but it's got less battery space than an AK, so I'm like, what the hell do I... Not a knock on the Brent. It's a fantastic gun. Just get a battery bag.
Yeah.
You just got to go to OG and just do a battery bag or a PEC box.
Yep.
No one wants to do that anymore.
No.
And Aaron Ruiz asked this 5 years ago. Okay.
hopefully he still plays Airsoft.
Aaron Ruiz, hopefully he still plays. Asked this 5 years ago. Hey, Matt, George, and Roger. Was Roger here 5 years ago?
That must have been. This must be from the Roger episode.
This is not something I've ever tried, but maybe you guys have. My plate carrier is green, and I would like it tan. Is it possible to dye my PC? Thank you, and good night. Thank you, and good night.
I mean, it's a good question. What would you guys think in terms of
just go buy I would just buy a tan plate carrier.
Yeah.
I will say though,
It would be hard.
if that's not in your budget, I have spray painted pouches before, and it looks just fine.
Yeah.
That's just spray paint it. I don't know about dyeing.
Yeah.
I would actually be curious as
So-
to what would happen. Have either of you done that, or have you?
So I do have a little bit of insight here.
Bleach.
So it is far easier to dye organic fabrics than it is to dye synthetic fabrics once they've been dyed already and been sealed. So most Cordura and other synthetic fabric vests are going to be very difficult to dye after the fact, especially because the dyes that you'd probably have access to, like RIT dye, require a dye bath in which you have a heated dye solution and then you actually dunk the fabric into it. And with a vest, that's going to be difficult. I think it would be far more easy, like Jet said, to spray paint it. And there are fabric spray paints. The difficulty I think that you'd find is going from a darker color to a lighter color. Simply because by the time you get enough coverage with spray paint to change the color, it's going to be real stiff. And we tried. What did I paint? I painted something before.
Was it like a battery
It gets real
bag?
stiff, and then like it's gonna wear off eventually anyway. So
Unless you want that,
I mean,
that war-torn look like you've got on your
yeah.
rifle.
Is the apocalypse.
I mean, I know some people who have painted their
Version one.
pouches to kind of give it like a weird look, and you can do that. Like Jet said, probably the best option would be to buy a new loadout. But,
Especially the way you're explaining
it's a
this
good
dye
question
thing.
of what you can, and then like what you said, if you dye synthetic fabric, how is it going to look? The other thing you have to keep in mind with a vest, if you have Velcro components and if you spray paint the Velcro, that
you can't
Velcro
do
is
that.
no longer going to work.
Oh, right.
So
I didn't
don't
think
spray
about
paint Velcro.
Yeah. Then you'll be looking like the night scene in Sicario with all your black lines.
Yeah, and if you're trying to like dye something that's already dark, I'm just going with like what it's like to do hair.
It's
then like
the
you would
same.
have to bleach it out
Yeah.
first, which would obviously like damage the material.
Yeah.
So if you had to do that and then re-dye it, you're probably just damaging your vest and making it fall apart.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I went through a similar,
I would
completely
guess.
off topic, but like, so I like the interior on my car's black, and I wanted a brown leather interior. And so I went through a similar process of like inquiring whether it was possible to dye leather, and it is. It's just very difficult to strip the previous dye off.
Correct.
Like if you think about like all leather is dyed, right? Like
Yeah.
cows don't come.
Are you telling me cows don't come in the shape of
They don't.
chairs?
So you'd have to strip it, clear coat and the dye off, and then it's such a process that I gave up trying to do it.
Yeah.
But
I dyed some leather once. I was dyeing it black, and then you can't remove that. It's almost impossible.
yeah, okay, yeah. So even more reason why I'm never doing it. Okay.
So don't do it.
It would just be easier to buy new seats at that
Yeah.
point.
Especially because gear is becoming more and more affordable. Especially
Oh,
like
definitely.
even like Airsoft gear. The quality is so much better than it was before. You know, the only thing that you could get was a cross draw, or you were overpaying honestly for one of the Garter 1000 denier Cirrus vests.
Yeah.
It's $200 for something that weighed 20 pounds on its own. So
Right.
you have so many better options now. Just buy
Yeah, you
one
can
that's the
get
color you
a, a really high quality plate carrier for $100.
Yeah.
Easy, especially secondhand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to do an Airsoft question, or this one's a food question?
Food.
Yeah. Okay, real quick. Real quick. We'll do 2 more questions. This one's from 4 years ago. Hung Fu. What do you guys get when you go to In-N-Out?
Oh.
Real quick. Real
Easy.
quick. Don't even think about it.
Double, animal style fries. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I get.
Animal style fries.
Okay. That's it?
And sometimes just like a regular, sometimes an animal style burger, but I mainly just go for animal style fries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, animal style fries because you got to eat them fast.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'll like get all.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You
And
always,
I don't
you
like
always eat
my-
the fries first, though.
Yeah. Well, and I don't like. I'm usually full after
Yeah,
the animal
that's
style
true.
fries.
Animal
'cause
fries
they're,
pretty
like,
big. You can share those.
Yeah.
George?
Cheeseburger, grilled onions, maybe double cheese, and then animal style fries.
Nice. So I get a number 2, which is a cheeseburger. Then I don't do onions. I get it mustard fried. I get extra toast. I don't get animal style fries. I just get spread on the side because I don't like the melted cheese that hardens with the fries, and that's gross.
Yeah.
You're one
Ryan?
of those guys
A
with
lot-
the drive-thru.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. You're like, wait, mustard fried? Do you want pickles?
Oh
No.
God, you're one of these like Starbucks. Over
And
This
then-
shows how Southern California we all are, because you only know this stuff if you live and grow up like
Yeah.
around an In-N-Out.
They have In-N-Out in Texas now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, Russo. There's In-N-Out in Texas.
I'm glad you
now.
guys didn't
Screaming
ask what we
Whataburger.
get from Whataburger.
Yeah.
Water burger.
Yeah, let's trigger Russo.
Trigger all of Texas.
You get an
I already
entire
triggered
head of
Texas.
lettuce on your burger. That's what you get.
Sorry, Texas. If it's my recommendation is if it's not for the spicy ketchup, Whataburger sucks.
They're trash. All right, Ryan, what
I
do you
just
get from
caused a
In-N-Out?
war. Sorry, I'm gonna die next time I go to Texas.
I was getting protein style 3x3 for a while.
Somehow I knew you'd get proteins.
Protein style 3x3.
Yeah, the protein
Gotta
style
be
3x3.
healthy.
Has anybody ordered a 4x4?
I have, yeah. It's just like, dude, I got
I've watched somebody eat that. Oh God.
I got
Dave
halfway through one of
Bax?
those, and it was
Dave,
just like,
Dave never did a 4x4, did he?
I don't.
I think
seen
I've
him do
heard
like
him
a
order.
3x3.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
heard
but
of him
Dave
do
is
a
like
4x4.
tall as heck. He's
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
tall.
he's a big dude.
He's a giant. Jolly Russian giant.
All right, last question, and then we got to wrap this up because you guys have things to do. We've got things to do. We've got Customer Appreciation Week things to give away. All right, let's do this.
Another
Interesting
food
question. This one's from 2 weeks ago, actually. Asked by Kausem Kim, whatever. Airsoft. What do you think about using a Nerf rival gun in Airsoft games?
If it's an all Nerf game, that would be. But then that's just a Nerf game.
In
It's just a
Airsoft
Nerf
games. What do you
game.
think about using a Nerf rival gun in Airsoft games?
I mean, it's been
It's
people
been
use
done.
Nerf stuff all the
Yeah.
time. I really
Yeah.
think you're just kind of limiting yourself at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
Comical.
But wouldn't it be a cool video?
I don't know about that.
I guess.
I mean, think about it. What if you Nerf player dominates Airsoft field? Just imagine that tagline.
It's fun to do. Like
no, you're
I've-
just like no.
I did a video once where I did like, I took the unicorn popper thing and I just like shot these like rainbow foam balls out of this unicorn for a whole game, and that was really fun.
Did you hit anybody?
Yeah, I did.
See? So
Well,
obviously it works.
it works. There's always gonna, if you do Nerf or if you do anything that's not Airsoft in an Airsoft game, there's always going to be people that get triggered.
Yeah.
Because this is...
Because they don't know how to have fun.
Yeah. I think that like doing all those kitschy things during like pickup games or Airsoft games is funny and fun, and like that's the whole point of Airsoft, so who cares? But I know there are people that are like, you're ruining my immersions, so...
If you're getting immersed in a pickup game,
Yeah.
you're just here to shoot your friends with toy guns. Relax.
But Matt, you have to remember, some people that pickup game is their serious hobby at that point.
That's
So,
true.
I mean,
Desert
like-
Fox!
I don't know what you're talking
Talking about
about.
the guy ran around as like a Space Force guy once.
So, okay,
True,
so
true.
let me pose this
But he
question
was a
to you.
serious Space Force guy. He was actually trying out for the Space
Astronaut is the.
Spaceman.
I'm
which is the
reminded of
correct term.
the game we went to at up in Castaic when we were all dressed up in costume.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yes.
face
It was
off.
still one of the most fun games we've ever done together.
Yeah.
Just horsing around in costume and just yelling stupid stuff.
You were a Spartan
running
guy?
around. Yeah, I thought that was the
Yeah,
best.
your
yeah.
costume
Yeah,
was
it
was
was.
pretty on point.
Thanks.
It was pretty on
It was
point. I mean, it was so
beautiful.
on point that I made a separate video just about you.
That was good. It was a good. It's a good game.
And it ended up being like a profile picture for a very long time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Photoshopped one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's
With my
still
drawn-on pecs.
nothing wrong with that.
Real, obviously.
Although on that topic of like a Nerf rival gun,
Yeah.
I really wish we could take the ball design that they have with
Yeah.
the dimples and somehow make that into a BB. I mean,
Imagine trying to dimple.
yeah, it sounds pretty impossible.
Some dude in the past is like one and it's.
I mean, it would just have to be like a micro mold. I don't know necessarily a lot about the BB process,
Yeah.
but it may be possible. But you might lose some of the dimples in the polishing phase.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, but
I imagine-
the BB would go so much further if we had dimpling though.
Well, I mean, we'd have to like test that. Like, I don't know how you would.
Yeah, I have no idea how that would be
I
accomplished.
mean, I could 3D print some 6
some
millimeter
just
golf
tiny
balls.
little.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be
We could,
so
like,
hard.
We'd try it.
That'd
Like,
be
it would
so
be
hard.
easy enough to make.
You should
10
have
of them.
polished the crap out of it.
But that's the problem is polishing. Because I imagine BBs are injection molded and then.
Yeah, they're
Or are
molded. They're molded, and then they come off a molding process, and they go through a ton of polishing, and then they go through a sorting process. And
So
then,
you'd almost have to make the dimples too deep so that after polishing they were of the correct.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah,
I don't know.
And you'd lose a lot of material
Yeah.
after you like micro dimpled like a BB. Yeah.
So that's the other thing, right? Is let's say that you could dimple them. You're losing the weight on the BB. Like, it's already hard enough to make heavyweight BBs. Now remove material to get dimpling. We may, you
Got
might
to
be
start with
limited.
an 8mm BB and go
Yeah,
down
really.
to 6.
But also, let me pose this question
your
to you
trapped
then
BBs.
as a follow-up. Is
Bespoke
not
BBs.
a 40 millimeter launcher with a football already a Nerf gun? Because a
really
Nerf gun
big
is
Nerf gun.
compressed air. It's just big.
I think that depends. Like, okay, so I just got the Matrix RPG, and I brought
I
brought
watched
that.
your video.
Yes.
Impressive.
Thank
dude.
you. I used it in Colorado last month. It was
I
was fun.
particularly enjoyed watching the RPG fire and then seeing the little poof, like
Yeah.
the cloud, and then
Mm-hmm.
the impact. It was pretty accurate.
yeah. I've got more of that coming in a couple weeks, but I think it's not so much Nerf when that projectile is like an exploding tag-in round. Like, so I was
Sure.
shooting chalk rounds at this
Yeah.
last game, but I mean, like, okay, that's kind of along the lines of Nerf and stuff.
I guess I meant like the football.
The
the
vortex.
football,
Yeah,
okay.
the
The
vortex
football, the
football.
football is fun. The
or
football
even the
is fun.
foam balls, because they make,
Yeah.
those.
Those though are, I don't even. The trajectory is always wild on those. It's
Well,
like,
it's
okay,
foam.
am I gonna hit the enemy or am I gonna hit the guy next to me? I have no idea.
Just like Nerf.
I don't know. Nerf guns have gotten pretty accurate over the years.
That's true. Especially the rival ones.
Yeah.
That sniper rifle with that giant soda can sized.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know what you're talking
that
about.
thing's intense.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. What are we at? We're at probably 40 minutes now.
Yeah, no, we can wrap up and thank our guests
All right.
and talk a little bit about what's going on this week. If you've been tuning in, it is CAW Week, as we're calling it, or Customer Appreciation Week.
CAW.
We have a BOA dropping tonight
Yep.
at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time,
Correct.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What else we got?
And if you're somewhere in the middle, you'll just have to do the math.
Yeah, you can figure out your own time scale. Okay, I'm not going to release it on Greenwich Mean Time, so just figure it out. We have a giant live raffle going on this Saturday, live on our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. If you've entered any of the contests on our social media page on Facebook, the winners will be announced during that time. And we have all the sales going on. Check out our sales page on our Facebook.
Now, so if you're unfamiliar, you're just tuning in midweek, don't worry, you haven't missed out on any of the big giveaways. We've done a couple contests and a couple shopping sprees. So make sure you're tuning in several times a day on all of our social media, because you'll want to check in for the details for each of those, the contests that you can enter, as well as ways to enter in the final raffle. But more shopping sprees coming to you, more competitions coming to you. And all of the winners for those contests will be announced on Saturday during George and I's live stream.
Yeah, along with a giant raffle of just all you have to do is just enter the raffle.
Just be there.
Follow the Facebook page that has all the details.
Just
follow
be
every
online.
post. Get notified.
Easy.
Click the bell. Everything, and you'll get all the information that you need to know in terms of how to win free stuff. We're giving away a lot of stuff this week to give back.
Free stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a weird year. Hopefully we can get back to having Airsoft Con next year.
Hopefully.
But we hope you guys are enjoying Customer Appreciation Week, and hopefully we can get back to normal soon. So thanks guys for joining us. Let's give them a round of applause.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Now put your mask back on. This is, there's a pandemic happening.
My mask
All right guys, we'll see you later.
Oh.